Listen, these are my thoughts on the political process as it is today. The media had nothing bad at all to say about Barack Obama, and much bad to say and much criticisms about Sarah Palin, about John McCain. You have one guy related to, or in business with, or in bed with Tony Rezko, Jeremiah Wright, William Ayers, Teresa Dorns, Rashid Khalid, the PLO, Louis Farrakhan, Gaddafi. I mean, need I say more? He couldn't even present a birth certificate to prove that he was a citizen of the United States. When this case was taken before the Supreme Court, as opposed to just presenting the document and having the case thrown out as silly, he appealed the case. And the Supreme Court, backed by the DNC, the Democratic National Convention, said, well, if you can't prove he's not a U.S. citizen, then he must be a U.S. citizen. I never heard of a system where we can be counted as U.S. citizens by proxy. We've turned our backs on the Constitution. We've turned our backs on the Constitution in so many ways that I can't count. Now, I am a Republican, but there are things about Bush I don't like. I'm not someone who likes Bush, so I hate Democrats. I'm not caught up in the two-party paradigm. In other words, I don't agree with going to war in Iraq since Congress didn't approve it. We went and got a UN resolution in order to go to war in Iraq when Congress did not give approval for the war. Okay? Then we got a failing economy in the United States. The economy is failing. The economy is failing. The sky is falling. Okay? The Republicans tried to have oversight committees put in place which were shot down by the Democrats. You have 4 people to blame for the fail of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. That's Chuck Schumer, Barney Frank, Chris Dodd, and Barack Obama himself, who was the second highest recipient of funds from Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac that there was. Okay? These are the facts. These are not my opinions. These are not anything that just came out of the clear blue sky that I felt that I should share with you to make you think more like me. Americans as a whole are being told what to think and how to feel about people by what we see on the news that morning. Turn CNN off, turn Fox News off, and until they start telling the hardcore truth without worrying about this political opinion or that political opinion or being right or being left, but being impartial. I don't know of or have not heard of one impartial news station in the whole United States since I can remember in all my 31 years. They get us arguing over the fact that we're Democrats and they're Republicans, so we're right and they're wrong, and their way of thinking is different than our way of thinking. Okay, don't fall into this two-party paradigm. It is a trick. It is nothing more than a trick. We lose our sovereignty the moment that government starts bailing out private industry and then starts putting czars in charge of those industries to tell those industries how they should operate. The auto industry would be the most prevalent one that most people would remember. If we bail them out, we're going to sit there and tell them that, yeah, we'll bail you out, but as a result of us bailing you out, you must build cars that run this many miles per gallon. Alright? That's not going to work for most people. Most people have families, need minivans and such. They're not going to drive around in Mini Coopers or battery-powered cars that have to charge for hours before we have to leave. It's just not going to work. Okay? It's a fallacy to even believe that that's going to work. Let's start with the idea of Fannie Mac and Freddie Mae as a whole. The government controlling the real estate industry and being in the business of real estate, which is absolutely illegal to do to begin with. Okay, it was started some administrations ago. But the problem is that it was deregulated. The real estate market was deregulated, meaning there was no oversight. No one there to look over it. No one there to say, here are the checks, here are the balances, here's who's at fault, here's who's in charge, here's who is to be held accountable when something goes wrong. Everyone's seen the media footage of Barney Frank sitting there talking about, well, there's nothing wrong. It doesn't seem to be a problem. Well, obviously there was a problem, and they knew there was a problem, and they wanted to cover up the problem. And now, instead of replacing those same people and having the change, the so-called